going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. We got Justin on today. Much of you saw on Twitter when I previewed this show. Justin invited himself onto the show, so here he is. Justin, how's it going?
Pretty good. Also, you can't say no to a self-invite. I mean,
No, you can't.
You just look like an asshole if you did that, really. So, like it or not, I'm about to hop onto your show.
Please do.
Because a self-invite basically makes me the judge, the jury, and the lawyer. Really.
Well, you're here.
Yes, I am.
And so let's get to talking. We got a lot of basketball today because the season has ended. So first, we got to talk about the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, that's right. Yes, the Dallas Mavericks downfall special. Let's go.
My tweet, I tweeted about them, which is what you actually respond to when you invite yourself on here. So they were playing against the Bulls during their second to last game of the season, and they've been really struggling. They were half game out of the play-in. If they won that game, they would have been now been a half game lead for the 10th seed. Would have probably gotten into the play-ins. If they lost, they would be eliminated from the play-ins. On paper, you'd think, how's that team not in the play-ins? But that's just how it worked out. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Kyrie Irving, Tim Hardaway Jr., and three other players and three other key rotational pieces were all out. So all we're going to have was Luka, and then they said Luka was going to play the first quarter, and they were going to shut him down for the rest of the season. Of course, they lose to the Bulls, which eliminated them from playing contention. So NBA has opened up a tanking investigation into the Mavericks. So what's your thoughts on the whole thing?
Oh, I think they totally tanked. I think they were totally tanking. People might not know this, but I think if they won that game, the Knicks get their pick.
Yes, that's the whole. The Knicks would
have gotten that 10th overall pick, which, with how strong this draft class is looking, is really huge.
Yeah,
like you could get a solid player. Like, I mean, I'm not sure if Zach Edey goes to the draft. Mm-hmm. But if he does, I mean, that could give you a good center rotation. Like if the Knicks were to have Hartenstein and potentially Zach Edey, that's on paper, and with Mitchell Robinson, that's arguably an unstoppable center rotation. So it was obvious to people who knew that okay, the Mavericks basically need to lose this, otherwise the Knicks have fantastic playoff position. Could potentially go to the second round and get the 10th overall pick in this potentially. That's crazy.
Yes, that's my whole thing. It's like I kind of see where they're coming from. Like it's like, oh, okay, so they're a team that if they win that game, they barely make the play-ins, may or may not get out of the play-ins. If they do, they would get smacked by the Denver Nuggets in the first round. Like there's a shot in heck they would beat Denver in the first round. And then they wouldn't have it's a team that already doesn't have a lot of draft picks. I mean, they gave up 2 first rounds to get Porzingis a couple of years ago. Of course, he's now in Washington. They gave up 2 first rounds to get Kyrie Irving, so they have a lot of picks already. And now they wouldn't have a first round this year either. Or they tank the game, they lose, they don't make the play-in, which is embarrassing. You can't trade for Kyrie, and then basically admit the trade was a mistake, which it was. So basically admitting it was a mistake, which isn't necessarily wrong. Like I said, the trade did not work out by any means necessary. But and then now the whole thing is they keep the pick. Unless a team between 11 and 14 gets lucky and moves up to the 10 spot, then their pick would go to the Knicks, but that seems unlikely.
Oh, that seems very unlikely. I don't see that happening at all. Mm-hmm. But I still think the decision to tank, playing on the line, this team should have been at least at the worst the 6th seed.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to do better than that. Mm. You really do. I did find it funny though when Jason Kidd was asked about the decision. He's like, "No, that was funny. They signed the checks. I just
that was. Them. I don't agree with their decision, but that was a funny quote. Like, he's like, well, if I agree, it sucks, but I keep my job. If I disagree, I'm probably out of a job. So I might as well. I
also say, I just listen to the people who pay me.
Exactly.
Hey, that's true. Basically, I mean, you can only fight with the front office for so many things.
Yeah.
Then this is one of them. Actually, this is absolutely insane. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, it's either they at best lose in the first round and don't have a draft pick, or you don't make the play-ins at all. But you most likely will have the number 10 pick unless you get screwed in the lottery. But to me, I would, if play-ins a play-in, I would rather try and make the playoffs if you can, which they could. If they win that game, they probably get in the play-ins, and they could get out of the play-ins. That's as far as they go. As far as they go, is probably losing in 5 games to Denver, but that's better than losing in the play-ins, than not even making the play-ins.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like all these guys who got hurt, like Kyrie, Tim Hardaway, they just came out of nowhere. Like, they were completely healthy heading in, and all of a sudden they're just out. And Luka, they just shut down for no reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I still don't understand that whole thing. There's really not much to say. I mean, they did tank. It was obvious. This had to be the second most obvious amount of tanking I've seen this year. The most obvious is their Texas counterpart, the Houston Rockets.
I knew that was coming.
The past, during 12 straight games, they let up 40. They let one player score 40 plus, capping it off with Damian Lillard drop 70 on them. That's tanking.
Yeah, they clearly tanked, which you obviously can't do in the NBA. Can't do in any sport. NBA's had a problem tanking for a while. They've tried to crack down on it. They've they said if they catch you, they will punish you harshly. That's why they changed the lottery odds. The worst 14 usually have like a 21% chance of getting the number 1 pick. Now it's down to 14%.
Yeah. The only bad team that I don't think tanked was the Spurs.
Yeah,
I think they were bad.
They have nobody.
I mean, your best player was Jeremy Sochan, and he was bad. He's not that good.
Yeah,
he's really not.
Their best player was Jakob Poeltl, who first of all isn't.
Oh no! Their third best player was Josh Primo. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Their third best player was a guy who literally exposed himself to the HR manager, to the HR person.
Prior to trading Poeltl, he was the best player, but still, Poeltl is like a fringe starter, solid backup center. And then once you traded him, who's their best player? Is it Jeremy Sochan, who's who's like a 12th guy on any other roster? Yeah. They got nobody outside of the Hall of Fame coach. Zach Collins is lucky to even be in the league.
Yeah, I think the only reason why the only thing stopping this team from going 0-82 is Greg Popovich.
Yeah, look at this team. How did that team even win a game?
Yeah, because you have arguably the greatest coach of all time. Mm-hmm. If he's top 3, no doubt. Yeah. But some people could argue he's one of the best because he has the winning record. But then I think he's the only guy. At this point, they should just put him in a point guard. He's 80 years old. He's got nothing left to lose.
Part of me thinks 75-year-old Greg Popovich might be their second or third best player if he actually played. They're so bad.
He would be the franchise player. He already probably is the franchise player. Who on that team are you going to franchise tag? None.
If there was a tag in basketball, no one's getting one in.
Yeah, no one's getting one on San Antonio, no, but it's going to be Greg Popovich. That's for sure.
Yeah, they have nothing. The Rockets, they have a bunch of good young pieces. They could win. They could probably compete for the 10th spot.
Oh, I thought that team should have won 40 games. I thought 40 was
that's their ceiling. That's their ceiling. I would say.
Yeah. You had Jabari Smith, who was great in college. Mm. You had Jalen Green, who's pretty good. You had some good backups like Terry Eason. Jay Sean Tate was good. Even Alperen Şengün.
He's had a nice year.
He's weird,
but he's actually had a nice year.
He grosses me out. He kisses the ball at the free throw line.
I know, he's weird.
I see it. I'm
weird.
What are you doing, man?
Yeah, it's weird.
I would wipe that shit off. I would literally, if I'm a coach and I'm coaching the Rockets and I see Alperen Şengün going to the line, I am immediately calling a timeout. I'm going to blow all 7 of my timeouts just for a sanitation period for that ball. Please, I don't want my players touching that. Nah.
Yeah, but he's had decent. They could have. I thought they were going to win at least 30 somewhere between 30 and 40. I thought I didn't have them making the play, but I thought they would be close since the West on paper coming in we thought wasn't as competitive as the East, wasn't as top heavy as the East.
Well, we see that now. I mean, it's kind of true. The East is the best conference now, and it's not. Yeah. There's not really a question to it either.
So I thought, all right, even if they win 34 games, they hypothetically, I mean, the Spurs last year have like 34 wins. They got the 10th seed because the Lakers was so freaking bad, but 34 wins got them the 10th spot. If the Rockets do that, hypothetically they would have a shot. But like 22 and 60, that's just, they weren't even competitive.
No, they weren't. And then people wonder why Steven Silas out of a job.
Yeah, like my thing with him, he had a bad team, but they weren't even competitive under him.
No, they weren't. They were also even when they did have James Harden for like half the season. The main issue with him was that he's very passive.
Yeah.
So I remember watching them play against the Lakers. They were playing against the Lakers, and Talen Horton-Tucker shoves Jay Sean Tate. Doesn't get a technical for it. Boogie Cousins shoves Talen Horton-Tucker back because he was on that team. People forgot about that for like 2 seconds. He was on that team, and he gets a technical. Normally, a coach would challenge that.
Yeah.
A coach would say, "Why is he getting a technical, but not him?"
Yeah.
Doesn't challenge. James Harden goes up for a drive, literally gets hit in the face on the drive, no foul. For the one time he didn't sell the contact, like every point guard does, he actually deserved a foul. He didn't get one, doesn't challenge it. Where is he doesn't have it. He doesn't have that aggressiveness that a coach needs. To be a coach, it requires you to be aggressive, and he just wasn't.
He's had a very successful career as an assistant coach, and I do think he'll get a job as an assistant coach, but he's not a head coach.
He had an even better career as a scout.
Yeah.
People don't realize this, but he was the one in Golden State who said Steph Curry's the guy.
Yeah.
He said Steph Curry, he scouted Steph Curry, and he said he's your guy. I mean, what a way to strike oil.
Yeah, like
really,
you make a great scouter and assistant coach, but he's not a head coach.
Yeah, but that should then make you a great general manager. That's what it should do on paper. You have the balls to go up to the front office and say, "Hey, this 6'1" kid from Davidson looks pretty good."
Yeah.
And he does.
And it worked out.
And he ain't half bad. Steph Curry ain't bad. He ain't a bad player.
Not really, no.
No, might be in the Hall of Fame, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, definitely.
So I just think he went the wrong direction there. Coaching was not his style.
Yeah. And Dwayne Casey is being reassigned. He'll be moving into the front office in Detroit, so he's out as the coach in Detroit.
Why would you even move to the front office?
I mean, he's a good guy, but
I'll give him benefit of the doubt because look at what the Celtics did.
Yeah, he's not gonna be their GM, but some sort of assistant.
Yeah, but they made Brad Stevens. But the Celtics made Brad Stevens a front office person. They made him the general manager. It's worked out fantastic.
Yeah.
So, maybe he could do well in that front office spot, but I don't know. The Pistons need a lot more than just a new coach.
Yeah, they're obviously in a big rebuild. And Casey, he's not a great coach, and he was in Toronto. He had some great teams. Couldn't get out of the second round.
That was hilarious. Remember when he went up for that? Remember when he won Coach of the Year?
He got fired.
And he announced on stage he got fired. He was like, "Well, funny. I shouldn't be accepting this, but I am getting fired after this speech." That was awesome.
Yeah, he had title like teams in Toronto and couldn't get out of the second round. He hasn't had a great team in Detroit, but again, they really haven't been that competitive, to be honest. They haven't made any strides, and it's time for a change. It's kind of similar to Slavs and They have a great team, but you got to be a little competitive.
And also they're looking at Ime Udoka,
I heard that.
Pistons. What I think people don't realize is that if you're a team that's in need of a coach, they probably want Ime Udoka.
Oh yeah,
he's the best one on the market.
He took a team to a finals his first year.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the best coach on the market by far. I know Nick Nurse is thinking about.
That's our next thing. Yeah.
The choices for the Rockets are very interesting, and I do like them. Mm-hmm. There's Charles Lee, who's the assistant coach for the Bucks. There's Nick Nurse, who would also work out very well there if he doesn't retire.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't just straight up, get annoyed that that Chris Boucher is on his team. Then there's Ime Udoka, of course, as I said. If there's a team that needs a coach, or the fourth one, who I actually really like as someone who can attest to it, is Chris Quinn from the Miami Heat.
I heard he's been. I'm not too familiar with him.
Yeah, he's the assistant coach of the Heat, and and I would think that out of anybody, he probably has the third best resume on that to look at, because he says, I've been under Eric Spoelstra for 10 years. I've been under my top 15 greatest coach of all time.
Yeah.
For a decade, I won rings.
Yeah.
I won 2 rings. Ime Udoka won 0 rings.
Yeah.
I think all of them would be good for that role.
Yeah, and Nick Nurse, he said he's contemplating retirement, and I heard Toronto might actually just fire him outright. I heard Toronto is not even guaranteed to come back. They might let him go. So it's gonna be interesting. So we got 2 openings in Houston, Detroit. We could have an opening in Toronto. Not sure what.
I think there should be an opening in Charlotte.
There should be. I don't think Steve Clifford's a good coach, and it's not going well there.
And the Hornets probably also on Ime Udoka.
If they fire Clifford, they'll be on Udoka.
Yeah, everybody wants Ime Udoka.
See, look, on paper, for what we know, he had a consensual relationship with a staff member. What he did immoral? No, he's married to Nia Long, who's an actress, and she's not. She's I don't know why you cheat on Nia Long, first of all, but he cheated. He cheated on his wife. I believe they have a child together.
They do.
So
all of that was wrong.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a bad PR thing,
mm-hmm.
but it's not the worst PR thing we've seen.
It's not like he wasn't consensual and he's on there.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like the Dodgers re-signed Trevor Bauer and we're like, that's not.
Thankfully, they cut him.
Yeah, well, yeah, they did cut him, and
God.
he deserved to be cut. I mean,
the war.
He's a terrible guy. I'm sorry, but it's true. He's a terrible guy, and if anyone were to sign him, it would be a PR nightmare.
Yeah.
I even think saying Deshaun Watson, when that whole thing came out, was a PR nightmare.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that bad. Considering this was consensual, it was wrong, but that's mainly between him and his wife.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. I mean,
the one thing that I am worried about, Ashton, who I've had on my show. All you guys know him. He's a big Celtics.
Shout out Ashton.
Shout Ashton. He's a big Celtics fan, and he knows the Celtics. He says he said that he believes that there's something that we don't know, which might be true. So my thing is, the Brooklyn Nets, obviously, after they fired Steve Nash, they looked like on the verge of hiring him. And then people within the organization were literally screaming at Joe Tsai, don't hire him. And
I think there's a deeper reason for that.
Yeah, look, Jacques Vaughn's worked out. He's done a fantastic job. To take that team to the 6th seed in the playoffs is incredible, and I'm glad he got the full-time job. He deserved it. But I'm just a little confused as to why everyone was screaming at Joe Tsai, don't do it, and Joe Tsai was like, you know what, you guys are right, I should promote Jacques Vaughn. I mean, yes, Jacques Vaughn, he's got a little bit of experience. He was the interim coach a couple of years back, and, it's worked out, and, I've always liked Jacques Vaughn. He's paid his dues as an assistant. It's probably better off when mid-season promoting, a top assistant than going out and getting somebody that doesn't know your organization or your players in mid-season like that. But at the same time, Jacques Vaughn, Ime Udoka is obviously on paper a better choice than Jacques Vaughn, and I'm not sure. Maybe Ashton brought up, he thinks that the Celtics may have called the Nets saying, "Hey, by the way, if you hire him, we're going to deliver this to the NBA." So maybe there's something else.
You see, that's actually where I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably saying we don't know, but people need to look more at the PR side of it.
Yeah.
Public relations for people. I want to explain PR real quick. Basically, it's the person who goes up to the press box and has to explain to the reporters why they did something.
Yeah. So
remember, the Celtics, the Nets were going through a really difficult time period.
That's a good
in
point.
a PR standpoint.
Absolutely.
You had KD who didn't want to be there, who made it clear. You had Kyrie Irving who had the whole anti-Semitic documentary issue. You have the fact that this team is stacked and they're losing.
Yeah.
You have Ben Simmons being garbage. You had all these things. Now you want to throw on Ime Udoka, who has this issue with an affair. I just don't think they wanted to deal with it. I think it would have been way too much for one group for one PR group to deal with. I wouldn't want to deal with it.
Yeah,
so it's
that's a good point.
So it's like we're dealing with taking the fall for Kyrie, we're taking the fall for KD, we're taking the fall for Ben Simmons, we're taking the fall for Steve Nash, we're taking the fall for Sean Marks, and now we're gonna have to take the fall for Ime Udoka.
Yeah, maybe the PR guys are like, Joe, please.
Joe, please. Joe, please. You set up the most dog shit team I've ever seen. Can you please?
Promote Jacques Vaughn for 1 year, then we'll
Yeah, I genuinely think Cam Thomas having like a great 10 games, right? Like 30, 40 plus points. They were like, thank God we have something good to say to the press.
Flex 4 games, yeah.
Thank God they're gonna ask me good questions about Cam Thomas, and I'm gonna be able to answer them. I don't need to answer 900 questions about Kyrie, KD, Sean Marks, and
Ben Simmons.
Yeah, Ben Simmons, Ime Udoka,
Yeah, but that may have been part of it. But yeah, we shall see. We have very interesting to see if any other openings open up. But let's. By the way, one more thing. But go back to the Mavericks.
Yeah.
I don't really get Mark Cuban blaming Rick Brunson for Brunson leaving. I'm a little confused by his statement saying that
yeah, I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
But you cannot tell me that there was not even a smidge of tampering involved in that.
There may have been. I mean, the whole thing is like, I wonder what actually happened. Did Brunson call his dad to say, Dad, what up? And Rick Brunson told him, hey, I took a job with the Knicks as assistant coach. Jim was like, oh my God, I'm thinking about signing it. That might be cool. Or was there something else out? We don't know what happened. Well, unfortunately, we'll never know. The tampering have always stays behind closed doors. Unfortunately for us fans.
Yeah, no, I do think there was tampering. Things just seem way too coincidental for there to not be tampering. If you're gonna say the Miami Heat tampered, which they did, you're gonna have to argue the Knicks did too.
Yeah.
Your father just so happens to sign a job with the Knicks, and then you just so happen to sign with the Knicks an hour later.
Yeah.
An hour after free agency. Come on.
I mean, my thing was, there were rumors he was going to the Knicks weeks before Brunson, his father took the job.
Well, remember, Spider was also supposed to go to the Knicks.
That's true, too. I'm not sure, I just think the Knicks didn't want to offer what Utah wanted. But that's a whole other story, obviously. We'll see what happens in the playoffs there. That's going to be a great series, by the way.
Yep.
But yeah, so, I'm kind of split. I don't know if there was tampering or not. It's definitely not the worst of it. It's not like, freaking LeBron does that every single year, I feel like.
The tamper, all right.
Tamper? That's a new one. Yeah. But anyway, that's that. So,
behind closed doors.
Behind closed doors, all right. So last day of the season provided some fireworks. Udonis Haslem in his last game put up 24 points.
Yeah, I know.
Whoa.
I ragged on Udonis Haslem a lot, especially this year. I was angry that they gave him a roster spot. But, they had a nice send-off for him. I think it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad he got some minutes. If he actually dropped 24 points a night, he would probably be a rotational piece. But instead, he just decided to wake up he decided to not be 40 for 1 year, for one game. Also, do you see that Dwayne Wade wore Udonis Haslem's jersey backwards originally?
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what Dwayne Wade was basically on his phone 90% of the time, filming for Instagram. What are you doing, man? It's like half these people don't even know who Udonis Haslem is. But what I think is even crazier is that there are 4 players that have had a lower season high than Udonis Haslem did. And Udonis Haslem is 42 and was a bench warmer for the past 5 years until today. So the people who scored less than 24 points are Ben Simmons, Draymond Green, Al Horford, and Marcus Smart.
Wow.
I'm not sure if that's better, if that's a good look for Udonis Haslem, or if that's a bad look for the other four.
Yeah, that's crazy. He had like, I think he came into that game in his first like 20 years. He had 6 career threes, and then he hit 3 in that game.
Yeah, he had 6 career threes, and then now it's up to 9. Wait, is that more career threes than Ben Simmons? I think that might be.
I don't think Ben has more than 2 or 3.
You know, I'm just saying. I think Udonis Haslem should have kept going because he was only 3,100 3-pointers away from breaking the all-time career 3-point record.
He was creeping up.
He's only like 80,000 points away from beating LeBron's all-time scoring record. He was right there. He could have gotten it.
Yeah, but speaking of LeBron put up 36 points. Lakers beat the Jazz 128-117. So, but the Clippers beat the Suns 119-114, and then the Warriors beat the Warriors 157-101. They win by 56, so they scored an NBA record 55 in the first quarter. So Clippers get the 5 seed, Golden State gets the 6, Lakers get the first play-in.
Damn it! So sad. I'm so sad. I didn't want that to happen.
Which part?
I didn't want the Warriors in. But the Warriors literally got in, not necessarily because they were good, but because every other team was so fucking bad. Like, I can't with this. I can't with the Warriors anymore, man. I don't think they go far. I think the only reason why they beat the Kings is because the Kings are inexperienced.
Yeah.
That is the only way they beat the Kings. But even that series goes to 7.
Probably.
That series goes to at least 7. This team doesn't win the finals.
No.
And even if they do make the finals somehow, because Nikola Jokic has to do everything, they're not beating anyone in the East.
No. Yeah. But yeah, so that's that. We had OKC beats Memphis 115-100. Terrence Mann had a 24-point triple-double. Kenneth Lofton from Memphis
from the G League,
42 and 14.
Yeah, 42 and 14. Good for him.
You had Minnesota. So Minnesota beats New Orleans 113-108. 26 points and 13 rebounds for 13 assists for Edwards. BI at 42, 12, and 7. But there's some fireworks in Minnesota. I don't know what happened. What was in the water in Minnesota? But let's start with Rudy Gobert and Collins got into a massive fight.
Yeah, so at the timeout, Rudy Gobert and Kyle Anderson were arguing. There's some archives of what was said, and it was I think Kyle Anderson told Rudy to learn how to block. Rudy Gobert then said to Kyle Anderson to learn how to rebound. And then Kyle Anderson told Rudy Gobert to shut the fuck up. And then that just inflicted Rudy Gobert to take a hard swing, no less. This wasn't a light punch. This was an authoritative swing at Kyle Anderson. And just like his offensive game, he missed. Rudy Gobert missed.
How's it going?
I thought that was crazy. I'm like, dude, this is the last game of the season. You're in the playoffs. Just calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down. This team. Basically, like I said, calm down. Get over it. You really don't want this horrible team synergy right now. This is not the time, especially when you're playing against a beatable team in the play-ins. In the Lakers.
Yeah, they're playing much. They've been playing well. They're 18-9 since the deadline. But they're like you said, a very beatable team. The play-ins is literally tonight. It's just like a day, or just literally a day or two before they have to play a playing game against the Lakers, and on the road, no less, in LA. And you got Gobert. So what happened was, I think they started getting into it. I mean, teammates getting through it all the time. You saw Mason Plumlee and somebody on the Clippers got into each other's face. It happens all the time. They're all competing. This is obviously their profession. They make a lot of money doing it. But then, Kyle Anderson says to block a shot, and then Gobert said to grab a rebound, and then Kyle Anderson's like, he said to shut the F up, and then Gobert punched him in the chest, and they sent Gobert home, and then Kyle Anderson, as he was going into the tunnel, a Timberwolves staff member, who probably no longer has a job, videotaped him saying, y'all kiss his ass way too much, and then, just to paraphrase, he says, y'all have a decision to make this summer. And Gobert is suspended for the game against the Lakers. He's not even playing. They suspended him for the game, the Timberwolves.
They did. Also, Kyle Anderson is like, what did he say about the summer? He said, like, you're not ready for the summer or something. Like, oh.
Y'all have a decision to make this summer.
Yeah, y'all have a decision to make this summer. Yeah, okay. If I'm a front office member, I'm looking at my list of people. Rudy Gobert, all right. Karl-Anthony Towns, okay. Anthony Edwards, okay. Kyle Anderson, free cap space. Really, Kyle Anderson really thought for like 2 seconds that he was Michael Jordan. He really did. He thought in those 2 seconds that he was the best player on that team, and he was not. Even Mike Conley. Conley's better than that. Like Kyle Anderson, you gotta stop it. Y'all have a decision to make this summer. Well, obviously, I'm gonna keep Rudy Gobert. Yeah, that's my decision.
They would trade Towns. I mean, they just gave up the freaking solar system for Gobert. Not going to trade him for a year.
Yeah, no. What are you gonna do? You're gonna trade Cat.
I mean, I don't think that's not bad as an idea, but Kyle Anderson's, like you said, either way, he's going first.
No, they're gonna once again make a trade with the Jazz. They're gonna be like, who looks awesome? Who looks like a real star? Colin Sexton. Sexton and Rudy Gay. I want Colin Sexton and Rudy Gay for Karl-Anthony Towns. Seven protected seven protected first round picks. If we get the number 1 overall pick, you're also getting it. And on top of that, I will also throw in my left leg and a can of Pringles.
Yeah, that's something they would do. But yeah, and then their defensive ace, who might win Defensive Player of the Year, Jay McDaniels, punches a locker on his way after the game, and he fractures his hand. He broke his 3rd and 4th metacarpal. He's out indefinitely. I can't imagine he plays in the play-ins, and probably doesn't play the entire postseason either. So I don't know what's going on in Minnesota. Something is in the water over there.
You know what? I really just think Michael Jordan's flu game. I think Jay McDaniels should just play with a broken hand. If he doesn't, I'm just gonna say it's a skill issue. All I'm saying is Michael Jordan would play through it.
He would.
Michael Jordan played with a broken hand. He dropped 50.
I mean, he dropped he was only allowed to play 7 minutes a game. He was going crazy on broken foot.
Yeah, true. He's going on broken foot. He had 60 points, which is still the highest scoring playoff game.
Yeah, the guy's dropping 16 in the playoffs on broken foot. I think, which was just from wear and tear. Just McDaniels he punched a freaking locker.
He punched the locker.
Punched a wall or something. I don't know what's going on in Minnesota.
He was just doing his best LeBron impression. So what Jay McDaniels is gonna do is he's gonna play the game. His
God!
Look fine. And then at the press conference, he's gonna have the giant cast. He's gonna be, see, I play with a broken hand. I punched a locker and gave it against the Pelicans, and I hurt my hand. That's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be so funny.
But yeah, my thing is, how do you unravel as a team like that, literally on the brink of playing a playing game against the Lakers, where if you win, you go to the playoffs, and if not, now you
on top of that, that team could have easily beat the Lakers.
Yeah.
That's all they need to do. They only need to win. They're lucky. They unlike the 9th and 10th seed, they only need to win 1 game.
Yeah.
That's all. That's it.
Yeah, and the Lakers obviously have the advantage. They're playing great basketball. Obviously, you have LeBron, you have AD, with who obviously have the experience.
You have D'Lo.
They're obviously, this team is much better than they were in the first half. I don't people are saying going to the final. I think it's ludicrous. I think they're a first round exit, but yeah, this is a team most beatable. And now, I mean, I'm not even mad for them suspending Gobert. I think you almost had to. So you don't got him. You don't have your defensive ace in Jay McDaniels, who's scoring well isn't abysmal. He can score well, but he's a defensive player of the year candidate. You have him. You have Gobert, who you brought in to help to lead your team in games like this. Playing, LeBron and Anthony Davis in the play-ins. If you win, you go to the playoffs. If not, now it's
he's also the best shot blocker we've seen in probably 10 years.
Probably, yeah. And they don't have Gobert. You don't have defensive ace. They're probably going to lose this game now. And no one wants to see the Lakers go to the playoffs. Now they're going to.
The only thing that's going to stop the Lakers from winning this, which is very possible, is somehow Anthony Davis is going to get hurt.
That would be the most Lakers thing ever.
Anthony Davis plays basketball with a fucking helmet. He does. He plays it with a helmet. This guy does not
put a helmet on his foot.
This guy is scared to jump. I know he's 7 feet tall. He doesn't really have to, but you got to get up there a little bit. I mean, it's a 10-foot basket. You got to get a little bit of a vertical involved. It's so funny. It's sad, but it's also a little funny to watch.
Yeah. But yeah, so let's do a little playoff preview, and we can do our picks. So let's start the plans. Tonight we got your Miami Heat host the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah.
Who do you got?
I'm not talking about it.
We gotta.
I don't want to talk about it.
We gotta talk about it.
Who are the 9th and 10th seed?
It's all right. Well, all right. We'll do that first. Tomorrow, Toronto is hosting the Chicago Bulls.
Okay, so whoever wins that's who Miami's beating. I just don't. Hopefully it's the Raptors. Actually, no, they don't beat either. Wait.
You don't think they beat Toronto or the Bulls? They both suck.
Oh my god. Okay.
In Atlanta, I think they might beat.
Okay. I don't trust this team on a game on the lines, on a one-game situation. If this was like best of 3, I trust them. But somehow, or for some reason, like Tyler Hero is going to wake up. He's going to walk. He's going to get out of his $30 million mansion, and he's going to be like, it's 60 degrees out. It's a nice, 80 degrees in Miami. What a wonderful day to fuck up the season. This seems to me, he's either going to be at breakfast. He's going to be having, his eggs and toast, and it's probably like a $500 egg if he can afford it. Probably getting his 80th chest tattoo this afternoon. He's gonna be like, you know what? It is a wonderful day to go 0 for 10 from 3. Today is a great day. Today is a great day to drop 2 points. That's what's gonna happen. And then Bam's gonna wake up this morning. He's gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna play well today. And then he's going to see John Collins and Clint Capella playing. He's going to be like, oh, shit. Now's a great time to put Udonis Haslem. And that's going to be Jimmy Butler, who's probably been working out. He's probably been working out since like 3 a.m. He has gotten no sleep. He's had like 8 cups of his big face coffee already. He's about to drop 60 tonight, and they're still going to lose by 4. That's what's going to happen. I don't trust this team in a one-game scenario. However, the Hawks are a dumpster fire.
They're on what's going on there. They're very mediocre.
The Hawks are a dumpster
Most
fire.
mid team I've ever seen in my life.
They are mid. The Heat are also, actually a top 5 defense in the NBA. They are very good on defense. I think they're actually top 7, but nonetheless, that's good defense. I think the Heat do win. They somehow keep it close because, like I said, Tyler Hero's going to wake up this morning and say, how do I ruin this? But they should beat the Hawks.
Yeah.
I don't want them to.
You don't want your team to win?
I don't want them to.
Why not?
Because I would rather them be out of the play-ins and have Pat Riley realize, hey, we need to fix something, than for them to make it to the playoffs. Potentially take Boston to 7 because Jimmy Butler will basically do the most only to receive the least. And Pat Riley saying, oh, yeah, nothing needs to be fixed. Apparently, Trae Young wants to be traded.
Yeah.
Apparently, and the Hawks greenlit it.
The front office have the right to move him.
This is once again the moment to where Miami Heat has the pieces to trade for him, but they are not going to. I am not confident that they trade for this guy, but they should.
They should, yeah. But yeah, I think Miami matched up well against Atlanta because Atlanta, we all know they can score. They got Trae Young, but Miami, like you said, is very good defensively, and Atlanta cannot stop anybody. So, although Miami is not very good offensively, I think they're actually the fourth worst offensive team in the league, something like that. Atlanta can't stop anybody, so I think Miami actually matches up well against Atlanta.
They are about to get rolled by the future XFL tight end Cody Zeller. It's about to go crazy.
Yeah, I think Miami wins that game. Toronto and Chicago, it's anyone's best guess.
I want Toronto to win. I want Toronto
maybe
to
save Nick Nurse's job. I think Toronto wins that game, and then I think Atlanta beats them.
I could see that. I think Toronto and I think Miami and Atlanta make the playoffs.
I mean, Atlanta's team that wins one, loses one, wins one, loses one. They'll lose to Miami, they'll beat Toronto.
Yeah. Also, if I'm Boston, I'd be a little scared. If I play
Miami, that's not an easy first round match.
If I play Miami, this is not to be biased, but but people need to remember when the Sixers had Tyrese Maxey this season, had Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and James Harden together playing full minutes, they beat them by 28.
Yeah.
They blew out the Sixers like that.
Miami, honestly,
they have to give them some respect, as much as it kills me. They are going on a hot streak. So basically, what I'm saying is we are so fucking back. We're taking it all the way. We're so back. I'm getting my half order. I'm getting my half off Papa John's. I think when they win at home,
we back up.
Yeah, we back up because I think that's what happens. I think Miami has like a partnership with Papa John's, to where if they win at home, that you get like half off of Papa John's, which is just says a lot. By the way, if I'm Boston, I'd be a little scared to play them right now. Everyone remembers the last time the Celtics played the Heat, and they're literally one shot away from losing that.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Butler bricked it. What a surprise. I love that shot still.
Oh, yeah.
We could talk about that shot forever, but at the end of the day, as we've all said before, Jimmy Butler was at a checkmate with that shot. I'm going to go to quick rant here. Jimmy Butler was at a checkmate. If he shoots that, if he goes, he had a wide open shot to the rim. If he took it to the house, he would have tied it. And if they lost in overtime, they would have been like, "Oh, you should have shot that three." If they won in overtime, would have been fine. If he made that 3-pointer, he's the hero. If he passes the ball to somebody wide open, they would have said, "Oh, you're the leader. You should have shot that." There was nothing he could have done.
Yeah, I did not get the. First of all, he was having a game. He had like 40. Did he have like 40?
Yeah, he was having a series.
He was having that series. He was if the Heat had won their championship, that series may have went down as one of the best individual performances in a series ever.
Probably that might have been.
He was nuts.
If they won the championship out of that might have been one of the best individual. We would have been talking about Jimmy Butler's playoff performance like we talk about Dirk's.
Yeah.
It was an individual's practically zero help on your team, and you did the most, and you got the championship.
Not to the extent of Dirk, because Dirk had literally no one, but it was to a similar extent for sure. And like the first 4 games, he was just absolutely going off. He struggled in Game 5, Game 6.
Game 6, I still remember. So you still remember that shot towards there's 2 seconds left on the shot clock, and he goes for this fadeaway long range.
Game 6, he was on drugs. I felt like he had like 48.
He had like 50.
He had dropped 50, and even Game 7 he had 40 or 35.
He had 48. Yeah, he could not have done more.
He averaged almost 40 a game.
Yeah, I think he did average 40 a game.
Yeah, I didn't get. I mean, so they were down by 2, right?
They were down by 2.
It was 30 seconds left?
There was 30 seconds left. He was down by 2.
I mean, maybe you go for, but also, Do you give the Celtics the ball back with 25 seconds with Tatum and Brown, and now they can just hold the ball and get one basket and win? I mean, yes, if you're up by one, that can still happen. But if they're tied, the Celtics have like that fallback. All right, if we miss, the game goes to overtime. But if you're down by one and you miss, your season's over. So yeah,
exactly.
I think it's the right
and
shot.
then you give them a choice to say, do you go for a one? Do you go for a two to go up by one, or do you score three to go up by two and then basically force them to either score two or three?
Yeah.
And if you were to get that, and if they were to go inside and get the 2-pointer, you would have then wanted Jimmy. You would have then had to go against Jimmy Butler, who's probably one of the best interior shooters in the league, and you probably would have lost.
Yeah.
Either way, but anyway, that should be a cool series. I don't think it goes far at all. I would say it's probably Celtics in 5, but somehow it is going to go to 7. I think the best first round series is going to be Cavs Knicks.
Yes, I'm very excited.
That's great in the East. In the West, Kings Warriors is really good. Kings Warriors is fun. Then who is?
We have Suns Clippers.
Yeah, Suns Clippers. That's going to be all right.
Paul George, unfortunately, is out the first 2 games of that series.
Yeah, but what's going to happen is Kawhi is once again going to destroy KD again.
If
Kawhi is going to destroy KD.
If the Clippers win that series, oh my God.
If Kawhi actually plays, it's going to be over.
Yeah.
It's going to be nuts.
And then going to the play-ins out west, you have, like you said, the Lakers against Minnesota. The winner plays Memphis. And then we have New Orleans against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Ooh, that's a fun plan.
That is a fun game.
I actually think either New Orleans or the Thunder make it out of plans.
Yeah, if Minnesota's dealing with all this turmoil,
Yeah,
I think they can beat Minnesota.
I actually am taking the Thunder a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the side of the Thunder a little bit. They're on a hot streak. Whereas,
Pelicans don't have Zion.
Pelicans don't have Zion again. What a surprise. I called them a bust, but, no one wants to talk. No one wants to believe me yet. Just like I called James Wiseman a bust and no one wants to believe me yet. They will. People will be looking back at the archives of this and they're going to be like, he was right. He was right. We should have listened. But anyway, yeah, because the Minnesota Timberwolves are down their best players. They're about to be running Anthony. It's going to be Anthony Edwards and friends over there. The Lakers are going to win mainly for that, and then I think the Thunder take the 8th seed.
Yeah, I can give you the Pelicans. They got the offense. They got a young team. They're playing good basketball. Pelicans without Zion have plummeted. They were second or third in the West with Zion since he's been out. They've floated down to the 9th. I think another sneak past them, and against Minnesota, I think they beat them because they'll have Gobert, but they won't have Jay McDaniels. So yeah. I can't imagine they'll have Jay McDaniels. So I think OKC sneaks out.
Yep.
All right, so to the first round in the Eastern Conference, we are going over Cavs next. We got Philly against Brooklyn.
First of all, Cavs Knicks goes to 7.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does. I actually have the Cavs winning in 7.
I mean, I'm not even going to say. I think we all know who I have. I have winning.
Yeah, you have the Knicks, and I think either could win.
That's going to be a crazy series.
I think both, because it's so good because both teams can win.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
this is a very even matchup. But I think what's going to end up becoming the difference, it's going to be based off centers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Evan Mobley and Jared Allen are better than Mitchell Robinson.
Well, yeah.
They are.
I think anybody is.
The only guy is Hartenstein, and you can't expect Isaiah Hartenstein to play 48 minutes.
No.
You just can't. I don't know what the refusal is to play Obi, but I would have. This is the perfect time to use him.
He's been playing a lot because Randall's out. He's been popping off.
Yeah, but Cavs in 7. I think the Knicks also go in 7, and either way, I can't complain.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen is Donovan Mitchell's going to carry him, and he's going to lose. Watch.
I mean, I would love for that to happen.
And then people are going to say he's bad in the playoffs. He's going to have 40 that series.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's Philly Nets.
Mm-hmm.
Next question. Skipping it.
Can't skip it.
I want to skip it.
Why?
I hate this matchup. I'm going to fall asleep watching this matchup.
I think it's an interesting
I'll probably
series.
watch it, but what's gonna happen is the problem is it's not the second round.
Yeah.
So Philly's probably gonna win this in 6, mainly because Cam Thomas is gonna have like 60 points.
Probably. And then the next game will have like 3.
And the next game will have 3. And then Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson are gonna go off. Ooh. A part of me really loves to say, ooh, I'm taking Nets in 6.
Nets in 6.
Taking Nets in 6. Trust me. Trust my process on this.
I mean, I'm not at this point. I'm not one to doubt your process. I have.
Really, do you trust
I don't
the
know.
Sixers? Do you trust the
I
Sixers?
don't, but the Nets aren't that. They don't have. It's the Nets.
Yeah, but it's also the Sixers.
I know.
This is a team that was up 3-1 against the Hawks and lost. Their third best player was DeAndre Hunter.
I'm gonna say the
And
Sixers.
they won.
I'll say Philly in 7. I'll say Philly in 7. I'll say Philly in 7. Philly on paper should probably win 5. You got Embiid and Harden, plus you got Tyrese Maxey and all these other guys.
In the first round last year, they were up 3-0 and almost choked. They almost choked. That was crazy.
Yeah, if Sixers lose in the first round, Doc Rivers should not have a job within 10 minutes.
I think if they lose to the Nets, I think Doc Rivers should be taken out of the top 15 coaches of all time.
He should be.
He should be swapped out with Nick Nurse.
Somebody.
Should be swapped out with Mike Brown.
For me, for taking the Kings to the top 3 team in the West, honestly, I'm not against that.
It should be the Beam.
Just the Beam.
One center. The Beam, the ultimate motivator. The ultimate.
Yeah, because like Mikal Bridges has to going crazy. He's averaging like almost like around 30 a game. He's averaging like 28, 30, 33 a game since he got there. Cam Johnson's playing well. Cam Thomas is he's playing well. They actually played better since they traded KD and Kyrie, to be honest. And the kind of like the Ben Simmons affair, ever since they shut him down, they've been better. Shaq Ball's done a great job. So I think, and they are good defensively. So I think they can keep up with them, especially since the Sixers love to make it interesting. We all know Doc chokes in the playoffs. Embiid, we all know he'll find a way to make it interesting. Even James Harden, for that matter, has been as good in the playoffs. But I think Philly, just overall, they're just upper echelon talent will just prevail in the end. Do they collapse the second round? No. They do not get out of the second round. Absolutely not.
Yeah, whoever plays Philly in the second round is just going to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's almost like a ticket. It's a one-way ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals at that point.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. That's all the basketball talk that I really have.
Yeah. Real quick, I just want to mention one thing.
What?
Can people stop saying that the Mavericks won the trade between Luka and Trae Young?
It's win-win.
So let me get this straight. You're telling me that both teams had a player who made it past, because they're both very similar. They're both great players, great shooters. Have both made it. Have both done nothing except for one conference finals run. In the second round, they both beat a team in 7 that they shouldn't have, and one won the trade more than the other. Last time I checked, one of them is in the play-ins now, and another one is not.
Yeah.
Also, Luka's a good player, but I wish I was mentored by Dirk for a year.
So, by the way, I've been doing some thinking about Luka. If I were to say Luka's overrated, would you throw me?
I thought Luka's overrated.
I was gonna ask, would you throw me out? Would you throw me out the podcast suite?
Luka is overrated. Luka is good. But best player in the world is a stretch.
Yeah.
They
sum what people rate. I think he's overrated. He's one of the 7 best players in the world. people are saying he's like the best player in the league. I think
he's not.
He's
not going to win. First of all, the dude is not athletic.
Oh, no.
He is not athletic. I have never seen a basketball player with the build of a golfer. I thought it was Freddie Couples out there on the court. I really did.
Yeah. Kudos to him for making the cup at the Masters. I like kudos to John Rahm for winning.
Yeah, for winning. Yeah, no, he has the build of a golfer. I'll tell you that he is slow. His form is slow. He gets the ball. Like, okay, it goes in, sure, but at that point, you can probably switch a 7-footer on him, and he'll block it at that point.
Hit the pitch clock on Luka.
Yeah, exactly. I put the pitch clock on Luka. Like, you shoot. Goddamn.
But yeah, my thing is, he plays really, really slow. It's really hard for the guys around him to it's really hard for them to build around him because of how slow he plays. First of all, I think he needs to lose a little weight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one to talk, but he does need to lose some weight. But also, I'm not getting paid.
Yeah, Luka's a professional basketball. He makes $40 million a year to play professional basketball.
Yeah. Also, why has literally no one mentioned how much of a crybaby Luka is?
Oh my God!
Except the only person I've seen mention how much of a crybaby Luka is an account known as DJ Khaled's Burner, which is a Miami Heat fan page on Instagram, and they made a meme about Luka crying about everything, and they wonder, like, he is a baby. I've been saying that since he was a rookie. Has he gotten better since his rookie year?
A little,
yes,
maybe.
Yes, primarily because he's not ripping 18 jerseys. He's not,
got a little bit, but he still is getting texts night in, night out.
He complains about every single call.
Oh my God, he's so annoying.
Everything is a complaint. It's so annoying. Also, can some outside of the game against the Knicks, which was an excellent performance.
Yeah, 6 points double double for sure.
Name a notable performance from Luka this year.
I mean, he has some solid 40-point game, but nothing memorable really.
Well, let's compare it to Donovan Mitchell, who had 71 in a very tough matchup. Not against a tanking team like Damian Lillard's. That's why I argue that Donovan's was better. Yeah,
unfortunately, he's having the same that had the DeMar Hamlin, so that's why it kind of got overshadowed. Rightfully so. But,
yes, rightfully so.
But still, like, it was.
It was a fantastic individual performance.
Put up 70. He was put up
and also he has the Cavs franchise record for most straight 40-point games.
Yeah, he's got the 40-point game record for a season. I mean, in the game,
good job, LeBron. Great job.
In that first game against the Knicks, where Brunson dropped 48. I think Spider had 42 himself.
Yeah, he had 42 himself. So really, he could not do more.
Yeah,
he couldn't. But yeah, Luka's overrated.
And also, he is abysmal on defense. He
can't defend.
He'll score you 40, but he's giving 30 back.
Yeah,
he is so bad defensively. He's got to be better. I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's a top 7 player in the world, but he plays too slow. He's not athletic enough, and he needs to be better defensively.
To me, he just reminds me of like Dallas James Harden, but without the handles. He does not have He doesn't have good handles either.
He's nothing special.
He doesn't have. He has your basic ball handling. He's not one of these great passers. Probably the best passer in the league is Jokic.
Probably.
And probably the greatest passing big man of all time is Jokic.
Yeah.
Really. But that's my rant on Luka. That's just don't say the trade was even. Don't say the Mavericks won the trade.
Yeah.
They didn't.
But yeah, so that's all I got for basketball. So one last thing that we'll touch on before we close this thing out. Odell Beckham Jr. So he goes to the Ravens, 1 year, $15 million guarantee, up to 18. Apparently Lamar recruited them. So, what's your take on all that?
As a Jet fan, I'm a happy man.
Yeah, I didn't want him.
I didn't want Odell.
That's too much money for him.
Yeah, it's too much money for him. He gets hurt a lot. He's just bad off the field.
He didn't even play last year.
Yeah, he's bad off the field. He's the NFL Kyrie.
Basically, to an extent, yeah.
Yeah, he won a championship. He has the potential to be Hall of Fame talent, but he's just not.
Yeah.
He gets hurt too much. He doesn't play. He's an asshole. Simply put it, I didn't want him,
and
I'm glad they didn't get him. The Ravens getting him, okay, cool. Now Lamar has someone to throw to, but at the end of the day, Lamar's probably just going to run it down 50 yards and then complain that he has nobody. There's nobody open.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like that, I really think that for the Ravens, it was a last ditch effort to re-sign Lamar.
Yeah, to keep Lamar. It looks like Lamar was recruiting him. I've just
and apparently like their plan, like the plans for him, the plan of like they'll sign in with the expectation that Lamar will be his quarterback. So I don't know, but I just think it's clearly a desperate move by the Ravens. They knew they probably knew they shouldn't give him more than even 10. Even that's probably a stretch for a guy who didn't even play last year. But they're like, all right, if it brings back Lamar, I guess in their mind, I think it's worth it. So it's definitely a desperation move.
Yeah, probably.
All right, well, that's all I got to guys say. Thank you, Justin, for joining me.
Of course.
And until next time, so long. Have a great day.
Lucas sucks.